So welcome, elite students and families. Anyone joining by phone, I'm Miss Beeman. I coordinate the support service in Trumbull, and we're joined today by Mr. Roble and Mrs. Luther, as well as Dr. Kim Hapkin, our interim director of pupil services. We hope you all have had a great summer despite these very challenging circumstances, and are glad to be here today to talk to you about our return to school and our return to the elite program. Our plan this morning is for me to start off by sharing with you some logistics, and then for me to turn it over to Robin and John, who will share more details about what a day will look like, and also about the job opportunities we're beginning to develop, realizing we're in the beginning stages of developing these logistics. And while we have many answers today, we won't have all the answers. And as we move forward, just as we do in our elite program, when it's typically running, we're looking to co-construct how we organize and run the program with students and their families in this new environment. As you have questions today, if you could list them in the chat. Again, we hope to be able to get to them, but after Mr. Roble shares his comments, we are going to be taking some questions, and we hope to be able to get to as many as possible today. So as you know, Trumbull has recommended a hybrid learning plan as we return to schools, and schools will be open for live instruction, in-person instruction, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. We are recommending that students in the elite program come to school all of the days, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and we're going to be sharing some details about what Wednesdays will be like for elite students as well today. As you know, the program will be housed this year at Trumbull High School. However, students, we really want you to know that we know you are not returning, while you're returning to the building, you are not returning to high school. You've accomplished all you've needed to do in high school. We're proud of your accomplishments, and our job is to work with you and your parents in order to keep going. And we have some great ideas about how we're going to do that. We want to make sure you're as independent as possible. And so we're going to be working to establish a different identity for you than the high school students. So towards that end, we're going to be inviting you to come to our central office in the next couple of weeks before school starts to be issued a Trumbull Public Schools badge. You can, as much as possible, move freely throughout the building and not be questioned about using the lavatory or when you're in your job and your work environments, making sure that people know that you are working and not a student at Trumbull High School. The hours of the program will remain the same from 8 to 2 o'clock. And just as we're encouraging all families, if you can be driven to school, that would be helpful. You are going to come in a separate entrance, door 9, which is in M Wing, and we've been given a couple of designated classrooms in M Wing for the basis point for elite. That being said, we'll have access to the apartment in M20 and also our SOAR Enterprises workroom, which are lovely rooms that we've developed in partnership with very generous donations from the Newland family. So we're really thrilled to be able to share that information. Students, and following the guidelines, students will be cohorted. We're expecting approximately 19 students next year, so we'll be in cohorts of 7 students, along with paraprofessional support of up to 3 to 4 paraprofessionals in each cohort. So we'll talk to you a little bit about that. And you'll be given a specific room to report to in the morning in your cohort. So with that being said, I am going to turn it over to Mrs. Luther, who's going to share some more details about the day. Mrs. Luther?
Hi, thanks. Good morning, guys. Good to see you all on here. So Mr. Roble and I have been working on what a schedule might look like for the day. And of course, this is just our beginning outline for it. But A lot of what we do at Elite can still be done and still be worked into our day. So we'll start out by coming in, unpacking as you always would. We'll be having our morning meeting time as usual with all of our regular activities. We then decided we would break up into 3 blocks, and during those block times, you'll be working on your employability skills, any internal jobs that we have, your goals and objectives, activities of daily living. That will also give us time for virtual guest speakers, working on our curriculum, and also working on fitness, which we usually do through the YMCA, and we're going to come up with some ways to do that here. We'll also have lunch built into the day, and we don't have our lunchtime, but we'll let you know about that. And then we'll dismiss as usual at 2 o'clock. So being here at Trumbull High School, I think we have access to a lot of great resources. We have some really great technology that we're looking forward to using, and I'm really excited about the year. So I can't wait to get started with you guys when we come back.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Luther. I neglected to mention that students will have access to the cafeteria for lunch. Likely they will be eating in their cohorts, but they'll have a designated time where they can go to the cafeteria and purchase lunch if they would like to do that. And we'll give you we'll be sending out information with the details about that. Okay. Mr. Roble, let's talk a little bit about jobs. And before Mr. Roble shares, I do want to acknowledge, again, the great work the students have done, both in the community already with Elite, and then also the great work the students have done who are coming into Elite. There's quite a few new students coming into Elite who, under the direction of Mr. Fisco, have accomplished a lot in terms of their employability readiness. And again, our job is to work with students and families in order to continue to grow students' independent skills. So Mr. Roble is just beginning that process. Again, we expect that really will evolve as we go through the year. Our goal is to reintegrate back into the community as shared. We are not going to be doing that right away, but we hope that we work on a continuum so that students begin in the high school with their vocational opportunities, and then perhaps that continues on to other Trumbull Public Schools buildings, including the central office building, and then out into the community. But we really do need to take it one step at a time and keeping all safety of our students as first and foremost. So Mr. Roble, do you want to share some preliminary thoughts?
Sure, thank you very much. Thank you. And good morning, everyone. It's good to see everyone's face out there. So I've been in touch with our community partners since we started distance learning, just to keep them informed about our plans. And it wasn't until a few weeks ago that we learned that we would be doing a combination, a hybrid model, and that we wouldn't be accessing the community. From the very get-go, I started putting out feelers to see if any of our partners might have distance learning work that we can bring into wherever we happen to end up having our base of operations. Now that we know we're out of, we'll be working out of Trumbull High School, and that students will be here Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, I've been able to share that with our community partners. And some partners, you know, are asking me to hold off. Fairfield University, for example, they're just going to be getting back up to speed with students accessing campus. So there's really nothing that Fairfield University has for us to be able to do in terms of employability, and nothing that I can bring in from Fairfield University to do back here because of the nature of those jobs that we had on campus. But in terms of interest from our partners in the community, EMS has expressed an interest. I've been going back and forth with St. Joe's Center about some ideas about virtually adopting kind of grandparents that we can message with. Nothing's come of that, but we've been going back and forth. There may be some possibilities with Unilever. Unilever is treading very carefully about their reopening, and they're working with limited staff, but I've been in touch with them. Trumbull Town Hall is interested in continuing perhaps with some kind of distance work, some clerical work that we can do back at the high school and that I can bring back to the town hall. The Giggling Pig might still be interested. Again, I have kind of soft promises from a lot of these places. Nothing, I don't have any work waiting for us as soon as we get back. Hopefully by September 8th, I'll have something. But again, these are just, as I talk to sites, they keep saying, you know, please contact me when you're ready to begin. Please contact me, and so that you can pick up work if we have anything. Ink Out of the Box is a pottery business that's in the vicinity here. The owner is interested in providing distance work opportunities for us as well. We have some proofreading work from a graduate's parents' online e-magazine that, you know, might be appropriate for certain students. The Trumbull Parks and Rec might have some clerical work options that we can do. So it's a work in progress, you know, in terms of bringing work in from the community. But certainly, as we get rolling, you know, things will evolve, and I'll hope to have work that we can do. So having said that, we will be doing work within Trumbull High School, and I'm putting out feelers to see where in the high school we can do some work. The athletic office is interested in having us do some work. What that exactly will look like, I don't know. It depends on the needs of the various locations within the high school. And we kind of have to share opportunities with SOAR and Mr. Fisco's program as well. So we don't want to step on anyone's toes. And we want to build on what the elite students have done while they were members of SOAR. You know, we don't want to necessarily repeat jobs that they've already done, but we want to build on them and grow. And certainly if anyone out there has any ideas or contacts that I can pursue, you know, by all means, I'm certainly open to that as well. So that, in a nutshell, that's kind of where we stand with our employability. Obviously, as we get back into the building and live instruction, we'll need to kind of get back up to speed in terms of employability skills. We'll be doing virtual job shadows and applying employability skills questions based on students' experiences to those virtual job shadows. So there's plenty that we can do in terms of employability skills as we ramp up and get back up to speed and actually doing work. So thank you.
Thank you. At this point, we'd like to take some questions. Mr. Chen, I'm not noticing the chat feature on this call. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Right. The chat is disabled for this meeting.
I'm sorry?
The chat's disabled on the account, so it doesn't have the chat feature.
Okay. Is it possible to take some questions? Could people, as we've done in the other calls, raise their hand if you wouldn't mind? I didn't realize it was going to happen like that.
Yeah, sorry, this was set up a little bit differently.
Okay.
Yeah, people are able to raise their hand and they can unmute themselves and ask questions.
Okay. So, what questions do you have?
I'm the only one raising my hand. Of course, I have questions.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi. I have actually two questions. So the first question is, because of the safety issues and some of the kids' health things, if they like do present with like a sore throat or and we want to keep them home out of caution, can there be like work sent home? Not that, I mean, that's not like such a big deal. It's the social piece for me with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like a live or a meet or something in the morning where they can.
Mm-hmm. Robin, do you want to, and that's a great question, because certainly we want parents to exercise caution. If a student isn't feeling well, we want them to stay home, very much so. So Robin, do you want to share a little, some preliminary thoughts about that? Would students be able to join the morning meeting?
Sure, yeah. So we actually had a pretty successful distance learning experience, I think, with our students. So we did a lot of creative things, and I think that it would be easy for us to, if we do have students that are at home, to include them on what we're doing, especially because we have a pretty structured day with the way we broke it up, and we can have the students joining in. And that would be something that we would work with you. You let us know that that your child would be home, and we would work with you to kind of coordinate. And we're very flexible here. So.
Okay, so the other one was more of an idea just for the job stuff. Is there something like, my daughter started like a thrifty account with her clothes to sell stuff on Instagram or whatever. Like, I'm wondering if there's any ideas of them maybe even starting something from there that they could then do. Cause like, I know my daughter's been, I wouldn't say employing because I don't think she pays them, but Alex been doing her mailings and stuff.
Hmm.
So like, maybe there's something they could do, even like listing school stuff or packaging, or, you know, something that's not as contacty as some of the roles they've had in the past.
Yeah,
Just an idea.
right. Thank
That's
you.
a good idea. Thank you. We've talked about possibly setting up some kind of an online store. And you know, Miss Robin and I will talk more about that and see if we can flesh that out a little bit. Maybe selling Trumbull High merchandise, things like that, and handling orders and what have you. So we'll certainly flesh that out. And Ms. Newland, thank you. That's we can, you know, explore that as an option. Absolutely, it's a good idea.
Good. Any other questions?
Yes, yes, me. Hi. Hi, everybody. I'm at work, so I want to get my question in so I can go back to work. So what if we were able to secure employment for our child outside of the program? Would we be able to sort of link it with the program, so to speak? You know, what if they had something already going and it was a good situation, and would we somehow be able to work that into the program?
So we can certainly talk on an individual basis as well. I think at the beginning, because there's concerns about coming and goings to school, we are, and Dr. Hapkin, please jump in if I'm incorrect about this, we are looking to start school in-house based employment. That's not to say that it can't evolve into something else. And again, that would be our goal. But in the very beginning, we simply need to start in-house and then move out towards the community. Dr. Hapkin, would anything else from your end about that?
Yes, and so what we will be doing is we'll be monitoring the health and safety metrics in the community very closely. And if they remain low, then we'll start making some decisions as to when students can start moving out into the community. Because, you know, like I said, our first and foremost priority is the health and safety of the students and our staff within the buildings. And so what we're trying to do initially is keep the movement between buildings as low as possible, you know, to avoid any cross contaminations of any sort. You know, we have a very robust plan for cleaning both, you know, all of the buildings and surfaces, but, you know, initially we do need to be cautious as to.
They're not letting me out.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments, ideas? Yes, Kim?
Hi. Yep. Up until this meeting, I was still not even sure I was willing to send Ryan to the high school because of my health concerns for him. So can you explain a little more about, so there's 19 students total for the elite program. They're going Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, no, Thursday, Friday. So are they going full days on those days with the 19 students, or the 7 in their cohorts? Are they going to be all in one room? You know, I hear that they're going to have this pass. So they get to wander around with the other 2,000 students in the school? Are they having lunch in there with them? I'm a little concerned about the health safety part of the day.
Sure. So the cohort will be, again, approximately 7 students with the support professionals that are needed for the cohort. The cohorts were, the idea is that they will act as a cohort. They will not, while they may join virtually for morning meeting and those kinds of things, they will be working in different locations. The cohorts will be working in different locations throughout the day. So from the moment they come in, each cohort will have a separate room to report to. And again, they may join each other virtually with 7 students on their Chromebooks, joining the other cohorts, so that we keep up a sense of community with Elite, which we know is very, very strong. But the idea is that they're interacting on a more limited basis with less students. They will be, again, doing jobs throughout the school, but we don't see them kind of in the flow of the other of the other students. For example, I don't believe that they will be passing in the hallways when the other classes are passing. Those kinds of things are going to be designed. Additionally, we are working with the district to, within the classroom, so for example, within the life skills room, we have some plexiglass dividers ordered, while students will be distance at the table when they're eating or when they're preparing a meal or those kinds of things, as an extra precaution, because we know the virus spreads when masks are off. We have ordered plexiglass dividers so that as students are eating, they're more protected along the way, around those kinds of things. Kim, I know you asked another question. What did I miss?
I forget about now. Well,
and I'm sorry, you asked the hours. So the hours will remain the same. So students will be coming to school 8 to 2.
Okay. But they'll be
Those are elite hours, obviously, not
Elite
Trumbull High School
hours.
Yeah,
Right.
elite hours. My expectation is that I'll be wearing a mask, throughout the day. I know we have mask breaks built into the schedule. Ms. Luther and I anticipate kind of rotating between the cohorts. Staff, paras might have to rotate between the cohorts. I'm not sure whether we'll have paras assigned to particular cohorts and just maintain them that way. But because we're the 2 certified staff, we will have to kind of rotate between the cohorts. So that's something to keep in mind also.
And just as additional safety, we have at the district level purchased face shields for staff if they need to use face shields. So in situations like this where, the staff might need to use a mask plus a face shield if they're moving between cohorts, so we're really looking at all of the PPE necessary for, to keep everyone safe.
Okay. I just have one more quick question because I thought of it. So let's say, knock on wood, it doesn't happen, but if there is a case found or cases, do you guys know the plan ahead of time? Is the whole school going to shut down, or what happens at that point? Because I would not be sending Ryan. Is there a virtual backup plan?
That's a really good question. I know the health department is working with the district to develop criteria as to what needs to happen. I don't think we have that specific information yet, but there are, I believe in all of the schools, containment rooms have been identified. If a student presents with symptoms, I know nurses will be contacting the families and, so that the students can move as quickly as possible out of the building. But as far as if a portion of the building closes, if the whole building closes, we don't have that information yet, but it will be forthcoming, right prior to the opening of school. We're still waiting for additional guidance from the State Department of Education. We get ongoing updates from the CDC as well. So as soon as we have the exact plan, it will be presented to the community.
Lisa?
So just to tag off that, if some of the kids have more predispositions to stuff, can we like, I mean, I'll send him even with his own little Purell. Can we remind them like every hour to maybe Purell their hands, and maybe the mask breaks when the weather's nice could be outside? Just because like everybody taking off their mask in a room at the same time, kind of, even if they're cohorted, they're going to start talking. And if they're talking and their masks are off, it kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Perhaps Robin, you can comment. All of these protocols are life skills, and I know that the elite staff will take much care, as they would in teaching any life skill, to embed what we do in this environment and the necessary additional steps we need to take in the instruction. Robin, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the first thing that as we were developing our schedule or our potential schedule, it's where are we going to put all of these hand washing and hand washing breaks and Purell and talking about proper mask use. And, you know, I definitely agree with you that they can't just take their masks off together and it defeats the purpose. So we are close to doors. So, you know, our plan is to access the outdoors to do things like that, as long as that's in line with what the school is doing. And, you know, big focus when we come back is safety first. So it's going to be about the hand washing and about the hygiene, and that will be built in several times between each block, between each movement or activity.
There will also be some extensive training to staff prior to the start of school relative to health and safety and how to manage all of the issues that are being raised today. That is going to be done by the health department and the nurses in the building. So all of the staff will have quite a bit of training on use of PPE and how to instruct kids and you know, all of the things that have been raised this morning.
Mr. Ferretti, is that you?
Yes, it is, Barbara. I don't take this the wrong way, guys, but I think you should probably, on the upper echelon, think about putting at least another teacher into this mix, because if you're trying to plan 3 cohorts with 2 teachers, and then all of a sudden one of these teachers either has a sick child or they themselves get, you know, sick or have to take time off, all of a sudden this program looks, at least from what I'm hearing, like it's going to wind up in a pickle, so to speak.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Leanne?
Hi, good morning. I just have a quick question. If we don't transport our student to school, what would the transportation look like?
So the transportation, elite will continue to have their own transportation. Elite students will have their own bus and transportation. And there have been safety protocols outlined by Mrs. Perkins. And also in the plan, we would follow those safety protocols as well, in terms of the distance and those kinds of things. So what we'll be doing is we'll be surveying parents to get their feeling about that. And then Mrs. Perkins will come up with the right amount of buses to follow those protocols.
Okay, thanks.
Anything else from anyone else? Let me just make sure. Okay. Okay. Well, we really appreciate everyone's time this morning. Again, this is the beginning of a conversation. I think the strength of the special education department, certainly at Trumbull High School and also at Elite, is the collaboration with students and with families. So we know that once we get off the call, many questions and thoughts and ideas will resume. Please continue to reach out to Mr. Roble and Mrs. Luther about them, and we'll certainly be communicating about next steps as well. We really appreciate everyone's time today. Thanks for joining.